Is it all over now?
I'm inclined to believe it only just begins.
I would agree.
Thank you, Duma.
Last landing spot.
We are to be a protectorate then?
Yes. As I mentioned before, Aster IV's prolonged contact with more advanced civilizations categorized it as a protectorate of the Pangalactic Federation.
Are we to be subjected to surveillance by an ambassador?
No, nothing quite as direct as that. Aster will remain under observation to prevent any unnecessary interaction with advanced civilizations until it reaches a certain threshold.
Pretty imperious, aren't you? Was that not where the Federation's faults originally lie?
Guess some things are hard to change. And though it might not exactly be compensation, all of you who have been subject to intense intervention now have the option to travel to any Federation system to live or study.
Studying on a different planet. I must say, I don't hate the thought. Right?
Agreed. But I must refuse. I vowed to attend to tasks on this planet using mine own strength. I've had lesson enough as to the consequences of progression that was acquired through the power of others.
That's true. If I studied medical science at such an advanced level, I'm pretty sure I could save lives all across the universe. But first and foremost, I want to treat the suffering people of this world with my own hands and using our own techniques.
Our journey into the stars must be one born of our own volition. Only then will we find ourselves on equal ground with you and yours.
I see. You know, you're probably right.
Does the Underdeveloped Planet Preservation Pact restrict us from assembling together like this? Is this the last time we'll ever see one another?
Well, I can't speak for Marielle, but Elena and I aren't bound by Federation laws. We can come and go whenever we want.
Veer will play a critical role in the Federation's investigation of the Scorpium for sure. Which means there will be times when we will need to contact Colonel Valange and Lieutenant Lola here on Aster. Which should mean that I can see all of you again, so long as I avoid contact with anyone else.
That is news I am relieved to hear. Gathering together is the best way for me to share in the experiences of my non-Scorpion companions.
Yeah, I mean, if it were up to me, I'd set up a branch of Lawrence Logistics right here in Osarius, and that would let us see as much or as little of each other as we could ever want.
Now is a time for restraint. Surely, the events here have opened your eyes to the importance of the Federation's Underdeveloped Planet Preservation Pact.
Yeah, I get it. But come on, you gotta at least see how hard that is on a personal level. Don't be so uptight.
I say this with respect to the positions of both Elena and Marielle. But, from my own view, I fail to find fault in Raymond's suggestion.
Wow, Albie. Can't say I expected that coming from you.
Spare me. I simply speak for us all.
I wonder if my ancestors also felt the same way long ago.
I don't know if you can hear me clapping. Oh!
Worry not. We have a tendency to be fine, after all.
I guess I won't get to talk during the
No,
credits.
You're a lot more carefree now than you were before.
For that, I know who to thank.
Oh my, who could that be? Did we have someone irresponsible like that around?
Oh yes. At hand, I might say.
Oh yeah? we both got jobs to do, right?
More than I care for, indeed.
If only some god would show up and free us all from the burdens of work life so we could just kick back and have fun.
Says the man bound to place his burdens on the shoulders of poor Chloe and Elena.
Hey, I've become crazy capable after all this. I'm sure they feel like they can just relax and enjoy the ride.
You are free to believe whatever you want.
Ray?
Okay, let's leave it at that.
Ray, this is the Aldous. We're now in geostationary orbit.
Copy that. Yep, best get going before this turns into another pick-on Ray fest.
It does seem about time.
This is Raymond for the Aldous. Commence transfer.
Oh man. I'm waiting until they're definitely done with cutscenes so I can talk.
(583). An unprecedented crisis for the Pangalactic Federation was resolved with the cooperation of the planets Vergold and Aster IV. However, the corruption which plagued the highest levels of Federation leadership continues to leave its mark on the organization. Amidst growing calls from Federation captains, my grandfather, Emerson T. Kenny, was assigned as interim commander of the Federation fleet.
Yo, good for
A
him.
retired military man, he refused at first, but after much pushback, he took the reins to lead the Federation from its worst crisis yet. Through these troubled events, I've come to question the Federation's purpose in this galaxy, as well as my own function as one of its officers. But I choose to believe that its cause is still just. We must ensure a future of peace. Pangalactic Federation Lieutenant Mariel L. Kenny.
The events that unfolded spanned numerous star systems, though their sovereign was defeated. Remnants of the centralist Scorpium and their invasive measures still remained. Those among the Pangalactic Federation who aligned with the Scorpium cause were on the run, but still retained their influence. To combat both these foes, my partner Elena, armed with data saved from Duma's survey, helped us hit the Scorpium network from their own colony. Duma's experiences and noble ideology had a profound impact on the network, and saw the remaining Centralists quickly weakened. And while everything might still be far from wrapped up, it shouldn't be too long now until the Scorpium find themselves on the right track. My hope now is that the Pangalactic Federation might find its way too. Captain of the Lawrence logistics ship the Aldous, Raymond Lawrence.
We done now? I'm waiting for a chance to talk about the game. I think we're done. Okay, this is a good game. Oh my word. Ending first, I really like that ending. I will say, I'm a little surprised we didn't get a second phase of Bulldor. I do know why they did it, I think. I understand why. Part of me is like, yeah, we should have gotten the second phase of Bulldor. But then we fought Bulldor like 3 times throughout the game. The first time we couldn't win. The second time was with Remington. The third time was with Valange. So I guess they did that because it was like, hey, you know, you deal with Bulldor so much of the game, so let's just like get it all in this one fight, which, you know, that's neat. I will say the I don't know, the final boss wasn't bad, but it was definitely really annoying that the AI couldn't cooperate. That kind of goes into my gameplay issues. Overall, I like that ending. Star Ocean 6 ended on a really good note. Star Ocean 3 does not have a good ending. If you've been watching my playthrough, Star Ocean 3 was my original Star Ocean game, favorite Star Ocean game. Its ending is not very good because it's not very satisfying. This game, very satisfying ending. Kind of sad what happened to Duma, and it's a bittersweet ending of like them separating, but they leave it up to interpretation, like, oh, like, you know, Raymond and Elena aren't bound by the Federation or whatever. They can go visit when they want. Leticia and Raymond will reunite, etc. The only thing was Duma was kind of sad because, you know, Duma, the way they used Duma in this game was really well done. Because Duma really, Duma connected with the other characters pretty well. They used Duma pretty well. This is without a doubt my favorite Star Ocean game. My new Star Ocean ranking is this game. Star Ocean 6 is my favorite Star Ocean game. Star Ocean 3 is number 2. Star Ocean 2 is number 3. And then I'll probably say like 4 after that. Even though I don't like 4 all that much. And then I guess 1 and 5. But without a doubt, this is my favorite Star Ocean game. That being said, it has some problems. And it's not all amazing. It's not like one of my favorite games. It's not going to be in my top 10 or anything. It's not going to be my game of the year. I think I enjoyed the other games that came out this year a little bit more. Although this is pretty up there. I definitely enjoyed this game. This is probably like a second or third place game of the year, but I think I enjoyed some others more. The combat in this game is good. I think the combat's really fun. The way they use Duma is really cool. The way you chain certain arts together is neat. The different skill trees, the play styles of the characters. The combat in theory, on paper, is really fun. It is really fun most of the time. I think the combat falls flat with a few areas, though. The AI is terrible. The AI cannot do anything, and they die a lot. Nina doesn't do her job as healer all that well sometimes. The AI can really screw you over sometimes, and it makes some of the higher difficulties harder than they should be. I'm not saying the higher difficulty should be easy, but most of the time in this game, when something was difficult, it was because the AI was bad. And I know Star Ocean's not new to AI being terrible, but it still was annoying. Other things about the combat, the camera was a little wonky sometimes. Using an item took a long time. You had to sit through their animation and you couldn't move for a while. There was a skill to make that better, but it didn't help as much as I would have hoped. And the final complaint about the combat, it really came into fruition as we got to the late game. AP. I think AP is fine. I don't have a problem with the game using AP as a system. Like, hey, you know, certain arts cost us AP. Once you're out of AP, you wait for it to recharge. In theory, I don't have a problem with that. Because it reminds me of Tales of Arise and Tales of Berseria. But in Tales of Arise and Tales of Berseria, well, they're different. But in Tales of Arise, you have AG. I don't remember how you get more AG in Arise, but it never was really a problem in Arise to get more AG. And then in Berseria, you would just have to get stuns and status ailments to get souls. In this game, how you get AP is blindsiding. And I love that blindsiding made a return. Blindsiding was really fun to do. And that's fair, you know, blindside the enemy, you get AP. That's fair. However, when you get to the late game bosses, it becomes really hard to blindside them sometimes. And enemies can hit you through blindsides, like they can hit you through Duma attacks, Vatling assaults as well, they can hit you through, which is kind of lame. So it gets really hard to blindside in the late game, and you'll be stuck at 5 AP for a while, or however much AP you have. And some of the good skills cost a lot of AP. So, again, the combat was good. I think I enjoy Star Ocean 3 and 4 more, just because, like, they don't really have as much of a problem. Oh, we're gonna get another cutscene.
Right then. I do believe the planetary representatives must be at a consensus by now.
Good sir, surely you see the merits in joining the Pangalactic Federation. We would hate to return today empty-handed. If you would just sign the dotted line.
Lieutenant Kenny, I hear the Federation has found itself in quite the predicament of late.
It's Lieutenant Colonel. This information came from...
Lieutenant Colonel?
The very future of the Federation seems to be at risk, yet not a word of it was mentioned here. You understand our lack of confidence?
You may be right.
Lieutenant Colonel, surely none of this is related to the matter at hand.
Sorry, buddy. You forgot to ask our opinion on that.
What? What is the meaning of this?
Allow me to introduce you to Raymond Lawrence of the planet Vergold. He's currently assisting our government in an advisory role on matters concerning these negotiations.
Well, and you didn't think to consult with us?
And what might that have done for us? I gotta be honest with you. We've just about had it up to here with all these secrets you've been keeping. So why don't we start this process over again with all the actual facts laid out? What do you say, Lieutenant Kenny?
Yes, I would agree. You really saved me back there.
You sure you ought to be thanking me? I mean, I just came in and busted up plans you had to add a new planet to the Federation.
You did, and that's exactly what we needed. We really need to stomp out the corrupt practices Remington and his supporters put in effect. Backroom dealings, influence bought through bribes, the Federation's hands are still far from clean.
Typical problematic feds. Man, I'm really starting to wish other planets would step up and start seeing through their tricks too.
Not sure there's much we can do about that. The scales of power are too heavily tipped.
But if we gotta keep playing middleman, we might just end up with another planetary alliance led by Vergold instead. It ain't easy keeping organizations this big together.
If the Federation falls, well, that's just another page in history. Okay then. Federation Envoy is off this way.
Right then.
I don't know if you heard, Ray, but I got promoted to Lieutenant Colonel.
Ah, moving on up in the world, huh?
I could find myself an admiral one day. So you know, if things do work out that way.
If things work out what way?
The whole Vergold-led planetary alliance bit.
Oh, that.
If I climb the ranks on this end, and you on yours, who knows? Maybe our paths might cross again.
I could think of worse.
Really?
But don't hold your breath.
I'm in this for the long haul.
Oh. Sounds like we could have a deal then.
And that's a promise.
Promise.
Oh my word! Was this... Finn? Okay. So Raymond ends up with Marielle? Oh, that was a character ending! Raymond and Marielle thereafter. Oh, dude! Star Ocean 4 had character endings. I bet you there's character endings for every character. Okay, so whoever Raymond ends up with. Okay. Dude, I did not expect Marielle to be my highest affinity. I'm probably gonna have to get all those character endings for what's it called? You know what? I'm gonna slap the save, right here, just to have an extra one. I was not expecting to have Marielle as the highest affinity. So, I think I'm going to talk about the game a little more, because there's some stuff I want to say. We are going to load the game. I don't know how much we're going to play more, but I'm probably not going to touch the post-game dungeon. I'll probably see what it is, but I'm not going to go into it. We'll save that for next stream. I might, like, play some Asoa. But I want to finish talking about the game, because there's some stuff I want to say. I talked about my combat grievances. That's everything with the combat. It was good. Like, when it was really fun, put it like this. When the combat was fun, it was really, really fun when you had, like, lots of AP, getting blindsides and everything. But the low points of the combat kind of took me out of it. Mostly the AP thing by the end game. The other stuff can be overlooked a little bit, but the AP thing kind of got to me, like, oh, I can't do all my flashy combos, and it got like, oh, hey, wait to blindside, blah, 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 and like, it was just hard to blindside, so, you know. Combat was good, it was fun, but I don't know, part of me prefers 3 and 4's combat a little bit, especially 4. 4 had some fun combat. Part of me prefers their combat a little more, but this game still had some really good gameplay. I did really enjoy it. The music in this game is phenomenal. Love the OST. Honestly, probably one of my favorite Star Ocean soundtracks. I'm trying to think. The story in this game was phenomenal. Really love the idea of the Scorpium, the way it works with evolution, integration, Scorpium. I love how they use Bulldor in the game. I didn't really care about Bulldor as a person. I wish they kind of spread out his flashbacks throughout the game instead of having them all in the final dungeon. But I like how he was used, of like, oh, this underdeveloped planet, Aster 4, getting access to this advanced technology, seeing the consequences, seeing the benefits, seeing what people would do with it. It's a really nice theme, and I like how this game tackled it. That being said, they could have went a little deeper into it. I feel like the second half of the game was a little rushed. It wasn't as bad, but I feel like the second half could have gone a little deeper into some of it. I feel like a lot of it was like, you know, it was exposition and we didn't really get much time to process things. But overall, I got the gist of the story and it was still really interesting, but I feel like the second half could have been fleshed out. And that kind of goes into the first half, which is Aster 4. Now, I have no problem with this game having a slow start because some games have slow starts and they pay off in the end. I feel like some of this game's first half could have been sacrificed for more time in the second half. Or the obvious solution is to make the game longer, but I'm not really asking Tri-Ace to make the game longer. This game was already like, it took me 40 hours to beat. That's good. That's good playtime. But, again, they could have made it longer. Also, though, I feel like, again, I understand why Aster 4 took so long. It did build up the characters really well. I'll talk about them in a second. But, I feel like a little bit of it could have been sacrificed for more time in the space section of the game. But overall, I enjoyed the story. The Scorpion bit was great. And, the characters in this game were phenomenal. I like all the characters. I don't hate any of them. I feel like if I would have ranked them, I'd probably go... How would I do this? I'd probably go... JJ would be last place, probably. But JJ is like an optional character. But JJ was pretty cool. His concept of like integrating with Scorpion. But he'd be last place because he was like an optional character and not as relevant in the late game. Then I'd probably say Midas, Raymond. This is last place to first place. JJ, Midas, Raymond, Malkia. Yeah. Trying to think who else is there. Oh, who am I forgetting? My first place is Albaird. My second place is Nina. I think third would be Marielle. Fourth might be Leticia. Oh, and then Malkia, Raymond, Midas, J. No, I'm missing one. There's 9. I'm not going to count Theo because he doesn't count. Who am I missing? Elena! I'm missing Elena. Let me go top to bottom. Sorry, I'm just like, I'm trying to think of all the characters. Albaird, number 1. Nina, number 2. I was going to say Leticia, number 3, but Mario got to me in the late game. So Mario, number 3. Leticia, number 4. Leticia and Mario are really close. I like them both basically even, but I'll probably put Mario slightly above her. 5th place? Do I like Elena more than I like Malkia? Yeah, I think I do. I think Elena would be 5th. Malkia 6th. Raymond, Midas, JJ. Yeah, that's right. So, Albaird, Nina, Marielle, Leticia, Elena, Malkia, Raymond, Midas, JJ. Yeah, I think that's about my ranking. It could change. I could talk about them individually for a bit. I really like the characters. Like, I like how, compared to Star Ocean games, they actually put a lot of focus. They, like, They have their goals and they have their stuff. It's really, really good. Like, shout out to Nina specifically. I feel like Nina was a pretty fun character throughout the game. Elena was also great as like Raymond's like kind of like the mom character to Raymond, because she's like an android. So that was pretty good. Malkia and Midas's relationship was interesting. Albert was funny throughout the game, especially his relationship with Raymond. Leticia's whole thing being the princess and everything was really, really good. Marielle's conviction and how to follow in the footsteps of the Kennys. That's another thing I want to mention. I really like that bit of the Pan-Galactic Federation beating Remington, bringing up Ronix and Claude, and especially at the ending, Marielle, it reminded me, she was like, oh, I wonder if this is how my ancestors felt, the whole thing with like them being together as a group. It's really nice to play the other Star Ocean games and connect it. And how they brought it in, like, oh, Ronix and Claude broke the UP3. They did it for good reasons, but they still broke the UP3. So they go really deep on the UP3 in this game, and I feel like in other Star Ocean games, it's like an overtone. Like, they talk about the UP3, but they never really go this deep. This game goes deep into, like, oh, the consequences of UP3. What are the reasons for breaking the UP3? And stuff like that. So I really like how they went deep into the UP3 in this game compared to other Star Ocean games where it's just like mentioned as something part of the world. They actually explored it pretty well in this game, and bringing in Bronix, Claude, and even a little bit of Emerson was a really nice way to do it. So I wanted to bring that up while I was talking about Marielle. The characters were just great, and I think the private actions are also really good. It sucks that they're hard to find, but the private actions did really well at making the characters feel like a nice group. They really got along, and I like their chemistry together. So I just think the cast was amazing. And that's basically all I have to say, I think. This game was great. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. Maybe an 8 out of 10? But I'm probably going to stick to 7. Maybe when I do Leticia's side, I'll give it an 8 out of 10, but anywhere from a 7 to an 8 out of 10. Definitely my favorite Star Ocean game. I'll be doing Leticia's side, but we got some stuff to do in Raymond's side before continuing. I'm going to go back to the title screen here. I'm going to end this video. We're almost done with stream, chat, but I'm not quite done with stream. I'm going to outro for the main story. So, you know, if you're done watching the main story of Star Ocean 6, totally understandable. It was a great journey. Again, it had its moments, but it was overall fun. Best Star Ocean game. Tri-Ace knocked this one out of the park. They did phenomenal. I am so proud of Tri-Ace. Like, they really knocked this one out of the park. They did their homework. Star Ocean 4, pretty, like, a fine game. Has some of the worst voice acting and characters in the franchise, but the combat was fun. So, a step down from Star Ocean 3. Star Ocean 5, a mediocre mess that probably should have had more development time and not been made on a bigger budget. So not very good. And they knocked it out of the park with Star Ocean 6. So, like, again, this is my favorite Star Ocean game. I can see this being one of the best Star Ocean games ever. This game's been doing pretty good with reviews, too. A lot better than I thought. This is kind of like a sleep hitter of JRPGs. Play this game. If you haven't played the Star Ocean game, if you're looking for a JRPG that dives into sci-fi, play this game. Play it. This is a phenomenal game. Again, it's got some problems, but overall, it is a good game. It's a really fun time. And hopefully you'll join me for the post game if you want to stick around for that. But yeah, those of you watching, hope you all enjoyed this journey. I really did another journey into the 7 stars. There will be lots of Star Ocean in the future. It's kind of something I am known for. A lot of people like my Star Ocean playthroughs, my Star Ocean 6 Star Ocean 6. Well, this playthrough's been doing pretty well too. This one's doing pretty well on YouTube. Star Ocean 3 is one of my most popular playthroughs, the Galaxy Redux. But yeah, I definitely want to play 1 and 4 before doing Leticia's side. I really want to do Leticia's side, but I gotta play 1 and 4 on the channel first. I have to do those first, and then I'll probably look at doing Leticia's side. I definitely want to do Leticia's side because this game is great. Yeah, so if you're not going to stick around for post-game, see you all next time.